Well, a very good afternoon to all of our viewers out there. Welcome to the Olympic Oval. We are just about ready to get underway for the Canadian Junior Championships. 1500 meter racing today. Referees are on the ice, ready to go. Skaters have done their warm-ups. We'll start with the ladies today. Our schedule will look like this. We'll have the ladies doing their 1500 meter heats, followed by the men. Then we'll do it again for the semifinals, and on to the finals today. Throughout the day, we will run you through a few of the qualification standards today. We are, of course, picking the team that will represent Canada at the World Junior Championships this January in Austria. We're picking 4 men and 4 women to represent the country. Of course, Canada can have 3 skaters to skate the individual distances, but the 4th skater is selected as a relay skater. Qualification for the team will be based on the cumulative points after the 4 distances. We'll race a 1500 meter, 500 meter, 1000 meter, and a super 1500 meter. Provided there are not any buys, the top 4 skaters in the cumulative classification at the end of the weekend will be selected for the team. Any ties will be broken by the standing of the 1500, 500, and 1000 meters, so excluding the super 1500 meters. Always a very stressful competition for these skaters. One of the most stressful on the calendar. In fact, one-shot deal for the skaters as they try to qualify for the World Junior Championships. A lot of these skaters will be looking to gain some of their first international experience of their careers. And so the skaters are now taking the ice for our first heat of the weekend. 5 skaters in this first heat. We've got number 1, Allison Shaw, representing Quebec. Number 2, Abby Young, representing Alberta. Number 3, Allison Saunier, representing Quebec. Number 4, Ricky Doak from New Brunswick. Number 5 is Léa Tessier, also representing Quebec. Advancement in this women's qualification round will be 3+0, the top 3 skaters advancing to the semifinal round. And we are underway with a false start right off the bat. Again, the qualification for this round is 3+0. Top 3 skaters will advance. And this time we are away cleanly here at the Olympic Oval. 2016 Canadian Junior Championships are officially underway. Relaxed start to this race. Of course, with the advancement being the top 3 places, no time is necessary to advance to the next round, so it's not a big surprise that we're seeing very slow pace to start it off. Allison Charles currently sitting in the back. She represented Canada last year and at the World Junior Championships, finishing 9th overall. 9 laps to go. That's Ricky Doak from New Brunswick moving into the front. She's followed closely by Leah Tessier of Quebec. Charles now moving into fourth. An inside pass. Now on the outside, Allison Charles moving up. Six to go. Charles is now taking the lead. Pack still close. Looks like that's number 3, Allison Saunier, making a move on the inside. Bit of contact there with Doak. 10.4 second lap on that last lap as we come around. 4 laps to go. Bit of a gap opening up to Abby Young, who's now in fourth, seeing if she can close down the gap. Charles looking very relaxed in the front. Long weekend of racing. She's not wanting to expend too much energy in this first race. Both hands on her back. Abby Young making the chase here, but it looks like Allison Charles, followed by Leah Tessier and Ricky Doak, are looking comfortable in the front to qualify. Top 3 qualifying and moving on. As they take the bell, it is Allison Charles, followed by Leah Tessier and Ricky Doak as they come into the last corner and through the line. Allison Charles of Quebec takes the win in our first race this Canadian Junior Championship. So as we move into the second heat of the women's 1,500 meters, we will once again welcome any people who are just joining us on this beautiful Friday afternoon, chilly Friday afternoon here in Calgary, Alberta. Getting close to the end of the work week, so hopefully we have lots more people managing to join us, and a big bonjour à tous nos participants sur le webcast de Québec. Our second heat, we have number 1 representing Ontario will be Mika Sun. Number 2 representing Quebec will be Megan Boudria. Number 3, Ariel Paquette, Quebec. Number 4, Danae Blais, representing Quebec. And number 5, Claudia Heaney. I believe she's skating out of the Kitchener-Waterloo Club. 2 skaters from Ontario in this race, 3 from Quebec. Again, qualification 3+0. Again, a nice pedestrian start to this race. Surveying around her, looking around is Mika Sun, seeing what's happening, not hearing any action moving. Very relaxed pass up the inside by Claudia Heaney. Kitchener-Waterloo Cobras. Lap time still in the 13 seconds here, is very slow pace, but now Danae Blais deciding she's had enough of that, moving commandingly into the lead, and that's put an infusion into the race. Lap time coming down now to 10.2 seconds with 8 laps to go, and the race seems to be on. Skaters jostling for position. Again, 3+0 to qualify. No time. Bit of a bump there as Heaney passes her Ontario teammate Sun. Now on the outside is number 3, Ariel Paquette. And as we come around, we currently have 5 laps to go. It was Paquette leading Blais, but now an inside pass by number 2. Megan Boudria moving in. Danae Blais moving onto the outside. quickly moving in. Blay making a strong move on the outside. You see this gap, it's going to be a good battle here for the third final spot, and a bit of a bump there. Refs, I'm sure, will have a look at that. And now Claudia Heaney making a move from fifth into fourth and trying to come around the outside into third and catch that final qualification spot as they come around with only 2 laps to go. Heaney looking strong as she closes some of the gap, but it's still Blay and Boutria in the top 2 positions. Heaney closing them in as they take the bell. Blay content to just sit it down and slow the pace right down now as we come into the end. And at the finish line, it will be Danae Blay, followed by Megan Boutria and Claudia Heaney of Ontario, rounding out the field. Of course, all of the results that we call here are unofficial, as the refs may have to take a look at any contact that was had during the race. We did see a couple bumps in that last race. So for those of you who are just joining us, we'll take this opportunity to once again mention that the qualification, we are qualifying skaters for the Canadian Junior National Team that will compete at the World Junior Championships in Innsbruck, Austria this January. Qualification is based on cumulative points at the end of the weekend. So the skaters race 1,500 meters today, 500 meters. The top 4 skaters from respective genders will qualify for the Canadian Junior National Team. We're moving into our third heat. 5 skaters again here. Right now in the front we have number 5, Camille Blay. She's followed by number 1, Anne Boudreau-Alexandre from Quebec. We also have number 3, Maggie Bainon, representing Ontario, as well as the number 2, Léa Chambellan d'Ostie. And number 4, Rosalie Tremblay, currently sitting in the back of the pack. 4 skaters from Quebec, 1 from Ontario. Maggie Bainon, third in Ontario, training out of the Olympic Oval here. Rosalie Tremblay also participated in the Fall World Cup trials, the senior trials this year. And she's currently sitting in the back in the national team skin suit, as she was a participant at last year's World Junior Championships as well. Pace picking up a little bit there as we see a pass as Boudreau-Alexandre moves into the front. And a bit of bumps. Taking advantage of that, Rosie Tremblay very intelligently moving into third and now accelerating on the outside, looking to be strategically strong as possible. She moves around the outside, but Boudreau-Alexandre picking up the pace accordingly and holding her out on the outside. 5 laps to go for the skaters. Rosalie Tremblay takes the lead. Now number 5, that's Camille Blay coming into second. Maggie Bainon being shut down on third. Really want to watch for these skaters to really set their passes up well. It's a high level of racing here, and you can't really just slide in. You've got to make sure that you set your passes up and execute them cleanly and crisply and efficiently. Boudreau-Alexandre trying to move there. Now 2 laps to go. Rosalie Tremblay comfortably in front. Maggie Bainon trying to move on the outside and catch that last spot. Boudreau-Alexandre shutting her down on the inside as they take the bell. There'll be 4 skaters together. It's going to be a close one there and a bit of bumping between the 3rd and 4th place skaters. Tremblay very comfortable in the lead as they come into the final corner and through the finish. It will be Rosalie Tremblay taking it from Camille Blay. So I can speak from experience that the junior trials is one of the most stressful events on the calendar. As a junior myself once upon a time, I found this competition to be quite stressful on the nerves. A lot of these skaters are very young, 19 and under, so a lot of them still in high school, and really get some of them getting their first big experience at a real trials competition this weekend. Of course, some of the skaters have been to the World Junior Championships before and have competed at these trials before, but nevertheless a nerve-wracking experience when it's a one-weekend, one-shot deal to qualify for the World Junior Championships. A lot of these skaters will have set this weekend and the subsequent World Junior Championships in January as their main goal for the season. So skaters will have, or coaches of the skaters and the skaters themselves will have paid attention to make sure that they are in peak condition this weekend. A lot of pressure on some of these skaters, a lot of that pressure coming obviously from themselves as they want to compete at the highest level and perform to the best of their abilities this weekend here at the Olympic Oval. We're underway now with our fourth of six, races in the women's 1500 meter heats. Got 5 skaters in this race. Number 1 sitting at the back right now is Renee Stienge. She won all 4 distances at the national qualifier a few weeks ago in Chicoutimi to qualify herself for the Senior Canadian Championships, which take place in the new year. Also got number 2, Karina Momeni from Quebec. Number 3 is Hiwan Son of Alberta. Number 4, Roxane Baudry of Quebec. And number 5 is Catherine Mailloux of Quebec. And now Hiwan Son of Alberta moving into the front. Stienge content to leave a little bit of a gap to second place there. Skaters seem to be queuing off of Stienge, not really wanting to make any moves, but now it is the number 2 skater, Karina Momeni, moving on the outside, but quickly shut down by number 4. Hiwan Son of Alberta continuing to lead with 8 laps to go. She's got a bit of a gap over number 4, Roxane Baudry. Stienge now in third. Nice little pass there by the number 5 skater, Catherine Mailloux. And now Stienge looking to move on the outside. Stienge of Ontario moving on the outside. She's training out of the CRCE in Quebec, the Centre Régional Piste. Now Stienge into the front as a bit of a gap opens to that from between that all important third place spot and the 4th place Hiwan Son. Now trying to close up that gap and see if she can set up a move. Legs looking to be a little bit full after that early efforts. With 3 laps to go, it is Stienge followed by Baudry and Mailloux. Stienge taking a quick look just behind to see where she is, listening to her coach's instructions. You have Marc Gagnon, her coach, in the box, telling her where she sits with 1 lap to go, and a big gap now in between the 3rd and 4th place skaters. So they'll come across the line in about a time of 2:35 and change. Will be Renee Stienge taking our 4th heat and unofficially moving on to the semifinals. So we have our 5th of 6 races coming up. Our first race with 6 skaters in the heat. 6 ladies in this race. 5 from Quebec and 1 from New Brunswick. We have 2 New Brunswick representatives in the women's side as well as 2 from Alberta, and I believe we've got 4 from Ontario. The rest, of course, coming from the short track hotbed of Québec. Alors, dans cette course, on a le numéro 1, Eliane Martin. Numéro 2, Maud Tremblay. Numéro 3, de Nouveau-Brunswick, Courtney Sarro. Numéro 4, de Québec, Claudia Gagnon. Numéro 5, de Québec, Flavie Laroche-Roy. Et le numéro 6, de Québec, Marianne Gay. Présentement en tête, on a Marianne Gay de Québec, suivi du numéro 2, Maud Tremblay. Les 4 patineurs avec le skin de l'équipe provinciale de Québec. Courtney Sarro from New Brunswick is in 4th. She finished 2nd overall at the national qualifier in Chicoutimi, and will also be a strong qualifier, move on to the Canadian Open or Canadian Senior Open Championships in January. So, Maud Tremblay is still in the front. It's the pace stays relatively pedestrian as they come around. 8.5 laps to go. See the coaches giving a little bit of instruction to the skaters, and based on that instruction, we now have skaters starting to move up. That was number 6, Marianne Gay, trying to move on the outside, but quickly shut down by Eliane Martin. Now on the outside, number 4, Claudia Gagnon, moving out, looking very strong on the outside, trying to stay out of contact. Of course, on those outside passes, you do want to make sure that you maintain your speed as much as possible and stay outside of the skaters, one of the best in the world. Choi Min-jun of Korea doing that. And now Courtney Sarro moving on the outside into first. The powerful outside move in fourth, or number 4, Marianne Gay is now in second, and Maud Tremblay in third as they come around. Of course, our advancement is 3+0, so we now have looks like a race of 4 picking 3 here as we come along. 3 laps to go. Number 5 working hard on the outside to pick up her speed, Flavie Laroche-Roy, and now she's moving around the outside and ahead of the skater from Quebec, trying to squeeze into that little bit of space, but she's really doing it the hard way. A bit of a stumble there from number 2, Maud Tremblay. She'll lose some speed, and now Courtney Sarro leading it out. Let's see, take the bell, Marianne Gay in second, and number 5, Flavie Laroche-Roy, who did a very strong outside pass, but energy-intensive outside pass, but she will make it through and unofficially qualify. It will be Sarro, Gagnon, and Laroche-Roy qualifying unofficially into the next round. Our head referee this weekend is Jackie Shoebridge. Jackie, a long-time volunteer and fan of the sport from the Cambridge Club in Ontario. Coming into our last of 6 heats here in the women's 1500 meter competition. Again, 6 skaters on the ice as they get into their start positions, now under command from the starter. And another blistering start here in our 1500 meter races. Again, qualification 3+0, hence why we are seeing the very slow starts. So while this pace is nice and slow, we'll take the opportunity to introduce our skaters. Helmet cover number 1 is Jade Gvion. She representing Quebec. Was also a representative last year at the World Junior Championships for Canada, skating the relay. Number 2, representing Quebec as well, is Juliette Brind'Amour. Number 3, Sabrina Paul. Number 4 is Béatrice Delorme. Number 5, Ariane Bourget. And number 6, Juliette Grenier. All 6 skaters representing Quebec. Early on in the race, see skaters shaking out their legs, trying to make sure that they get any lactic that's building up now cleared out, so they'll have energy later on the skaters. You also see skaters looking over their shoulders left and right, trying to see where other people are in the pack, assess where they are compared to who they believe are their biggest rivals in this race. Of course, Jade Kivion was a representative last year of the World Junior on the World Junior team for Canada, so I'm sure she's a bit of a marked skater in this race. Et présentement, on a Ariane Bourget en tête, suivi du numéro 6, Juliette Grenier. Maintenant, avec ses bras sur le dos, numéro 3 sur un dépassement extérieur, Sabrina Paul. Strong move to the front. Kivion now following her as Bourget tries to hold off skaters, but Brin-d'Amour now moving into third. It's currently Bourget, Kivion, Brin-d'Amour sliding into second with a nice little pass there. 5-meter gap now between the top 3 and the bottom 3 in this race. Of course, top 3 do advance. 4 laps to go for these skaters. Sabrina Paul in front, suivi de numéro 2, Juliette Brin-d'Amour, et du numéro 1, Jade Kivion. Les coachs signalent aux athlètes qu'il y a un gros gap entre les top 3 et le 4, 5, 6. Alors, ça a l'air que Brin-d'Amour et Kivion sont contents juste de s'asseoir puis de garder leur 2e et 3e position et s'assurer qu'elles se qualifient pour la prochaine round. And at the line, it will be Paul, Brin-d'Amour, and Kivion qualifying unofficially for the semifinals here at the Olympic Oval in Calgary. .385 is very slow time here at the Olympic Oval. We're now moving on to the men's side of the competition. Again, 32 skaters on the men's side, same as the women. These skaters, of course, qualified through their position at the national qualifier or by courtesy of their time for those who did not compete at the national qualifier. Got 5 heats for the men. Excuse me, I cannot count. 6 heats for the men, same as the women. Got 4 heats of 5, 2 heats of 6, and just like the women, the men are kicking things off with a false start. False starts, of course, not uncommon in the 500 meters, but a little bit less common in the 1500 meters. Perhaps a bit of nerves here. The first race of the weekend for these gentlemen. And our starter for this weekend for the men's side, Bill Kempers, getting the skaters off to a clean start. Helmet cover number 1, skating out of the Olympic Oval and representing Alberta, is Paul Coder. Skater helmet cover number 2 du Québec, Jacob Savard. Le numéro 3 du Québec, Marc-Olivier Lamé. Le numéro 4 de Québec, Jérôme Coulombe-Peterson. Et le numéro 5, Tommy Amelin Lebrec de Québec. Right now, the skaters making it easy for this announcer by keeping themselves all in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on their helmet covers. And again, very slow start for Paul Coder. He's looking down at his feet, and just as he does that, he's passed by 2 skaters on the inside. Number 4, Peterson Coulombe, and number 2, Savard. Coder now making sure that he's alert. So he's got Marc-Olivier Lemay, last year's junior Canadian champion, in 4th place right now. 8 laps to go. Marc-Olivier Lemay leaving a bit of a gap. Marc-Olivier Lemay last year, 13th overall at the World Junior Championships. Pace picking up here, 9.2 seconds for Jérôme Péterson-Clome. Paul Coder looking comfortable in 3rd, as his coach Christina Lazarescu trying to tell him it is time to move up. And now Marc-Olivier Lemay moving into 3rd place from 4th. Race is on now, and coming up on the outside, number 5, Tommy Amelin Labrec. Labrec is actually coached by Jessica Hewitt, Olympic silver medalist in 2014, out of the Gadbois Club. But now Lemay comfortably and quietly moving his way into the front. Amelin Labrec looking behind him and seeing that there's a bit of a gap. As they take the bell into the final corner, it will be looking like Lemay will take this in 1st, Amelin Labrec in 3rd, and number 2, Jacob Savard, unofficially the top 3 in this race. Moving on to our next round. So 2:26.957 for Lemay. Another relaxed time. Of course, time is not of the essence this weekend. This is all about qualification based on position. We may see some fast times as we go and move through the rounds, and potentially, of course, in our 500 meters tomorrow. For now, in our first round of the 1500 meters, skaters comfortable to skate with the relaxed pace and just focus on being in that top 3. So, and another smoking start to this second heat of the men's 1500 meters. Number 1 in this race, helmet cover number 1, Simon Dandelin. Number 2, from Saskatchewan, Marco Schumann. Number 3, representing Alberta, Brendan Yamada. Helmet cover number 4 is Seamus Smith of New Brunswick. And number 5, David Laroux of Quebec. Got 2 skaters in this race who are training at the Olympic Oval program. So that's Schumann of Saskatchewan and Yamada of Alberta. Now a bit of a shuffling of pace here as the skaters figure out where they would like to be in the race. Schumann, known for his flat speed in the 500 meters. He is passed on the inside by Laroux of Quebec. Bit of a balancing act to play for those skaters in 5th. They want to move to the front. They don't want to make too much noise and cause a reaction with the pass, but of course they want to make sure that they have enough speed to get to the front. As we see Yamada doing, or excuse me, you see Smith of New Brunswick doing that. Schumann now moving on the outside of the very efficient pass and carrying his speed well, causing a reaction as Seamus Smith moves quickly to close that gap down on Schumann. 5 laps to go for these skaters here. Schumann picking up the pace. Smith of New Brunswick in 2nd, Laroux of Quebec in 5th. Looks like Yamada looking to try and make a move here to see if he can snag one of those last spots here. And now Leroux moving in front of Smith of New Brunswick. Smith taking a look up behind his shoulder to see where the skater is, and he sees Yamada looking to make a move. Shoulder to shoulder going into the corner there. Looked like a clean pass. Schumann continuing to pull away with Leroux. As we take the bell, Yamada pulling away now from Smith. Smith's going to chase him down right to the line. And as we come across the line, good display of sportsmanship there. Schumann takes it from Leroux. Yamada picking up, unofficially picking up the last spot, and looks like we have some serious fans of Marco Schumann in the crowd today here. A small crowd, of course, Friday afternoon. But they seem to have their posters and giant hands with number ones. So we'll be looking to hear big things from them all weekend. So here we go. Third of 6 heats in the men's 1500 meters. Five skaters on the line in this race. We've got Francis Dumichel of Quebec. Number 2, Jean-Sébastien Bolin of Quebec. Number 3, Jackson Hunter, representing Alberta. Number 4, representing Quebec, but skating out of Olympic Oval, Vincent Girard. And number 5, from Ontario, Mitchell Schramm. Girard, tall skater from Quebec, in the front. Schramm from Kitchener-Waterloo Cobras, sitting in third in the yellow and black suit. Hunter following him in fourth. Again, relaxed pace here. Jackson Hunter making a sneaky little move there. Bit of bumping between the skaters as they jockey for position. Schramm moving up into the lead and swinging wide, not really wanting to lead, it looks like. Always a bit of a balancing act for the skaters. Do you want to lead? Do you want to follow? Of course, the pace being slow like this, skater sits at the back too long. The skaters at the front aren't working that much harder than them, and they can burn out their legs, but now the pace picking up. Girard with a nice triple inside pass there to move into the front. And now on the outside, Jackson Hunter looking like trying to move on the outs into the front. Girard controlling well, but number 2 is Jean-Sébastien Bon, looking very strong. And now on the inside, number 1, Francis Dumichel. Girard into second. Lots of action in this race. One of the first races we've seen with lots of passes. Girard now looking to move into the front, and he does so with authority. As we come around, 4 laps to go. Another skates. Dumichel making another pass on the inside. No skaters out of this race yet. Now Jackson Hunter making a big move from 3, and he takes down. 2 skaters go down hard. That was Hunter. I'm not sure who the other skater was that went down, but they look to be up and okay. Vincent Girard leading this out. Dumichel, Mitchell Schramm in third. So that was Jackson Hunter and Jean-Sébastien Bon going down. I'm sure the refs will have to review that one, but as they come around to the bell, or to the last line, cheeky little pass there at the line by Francis Dumichel in front of Girard. They'll take the first 2 spots. Mitchell Schramm will take the third spot unofficially. The referees conferring at center ice. So we're looking at the replay here. We have Jackson Hunter moving on the inside. Bit of a late pass there, hitting a block, taking down the other skater. Violent crash here, actually, as Hunter goes right into the skates of Boll. So get another look at this replay here. A lot of passes early on in this race, between about 9 and 6 to go, and I think Hunter there getting a little bit impatient, feeling the pressure and taking down the skaters. So Boll was in third in a qualification position, so as the refs confer in the center of the race, or center of the ice there, you can see that on your screen now. They'll make the decision on whether any disqualifications or advancements will be needed in this race to make sure that we get a fair result. And now head referee Jackie Shoebridge making her way over to the video, or she'll take a quick look to confirm their thoughts. And so while the skaters are getting out on the ice, can take another opportunity to remind everybody out there who might not know that the qualification this weekend, or this is the qualification for the World Junior Championships, we are selecting the team that will represent Canada at those World Junior Championships, which take place in Innsbruck, Austria. Top four skaters from each gender will be selected to attend those World Junior Championships. Top 3 skaters get to skate individually, while the 4th skater will be a member of the relay team. And that qualification is determined by the cumulative point standings at the end of the weekend, based on all of the 4 distances that we'll skate here this weekend. Of course, the points are based on how you finish in the finals, so emphasis put on winning the races. Early days here, though, at this competition, as we're in our heats. So in the previous race, we actually have 2 disqualifications. Number 2, Jean-Sébastien Boll was disqualified for impeding. And number 3, Jackson Hunter was also disqualified for impeding. So no advancement in the previous race. So that was Boll and Hunter, both disqualified for impeding, and no advancement in our previous race. So with that, we move on to our 4th heat here, the men's 1500 meters. A bit more of an active start here, as we've got Alexander Hale of Quebec, number 2, Alexis Marceau of Quebec, number 3, Nicolas Perrault of Quebec, number 4, Drake Fu from Ontario, and number 5, Adrian Rudy, also representing Ontario. He's got the Toronto suit on there at the back. Drake Fu is an Ontario teammate training out here in Calgary with the Olympic Oval program. But for now, it's Alexander Hale, an Ontario skater who decided to go east to Montreal in the lead. And now Fu moving into the front. Alexis Marceau présentement en 2e place. Avec 10 tours à faire, on a le numéro 3, Nicolas Perrault, qui va du 3e au 2e. Petit accrochement avec Fu, mais rien n'est perdu. Numéro 2, Alexis Marceau, qui est présentement en tête. .2-second lap there. His pace still really slow. But now there's 2 skaters from Quebec in this race imposing themselves, while Alexander Hale makes an explosive move into the front. Alexander Hale now in the lead, looking comfortable as he makes a beautiful outside pass. Number 2, Alexis Marceau in second. Getting out deep on his left edge there on the apex was number 3, Nicolas Perrault. Lost a bit of speed, but now looking to see if he can move up and get himself out of that danger position, being in the final qualifying position right now. Hale looking very comfortable in the front as he surveys around. 3 laps to go for the skaters here. Top 3 will advance, and moving up, haven't really seen much from him yet. Adrien Rudy maybe hasn't said his last word. 2 laps to go. Let's see if he can put in a bit of a surge here and pass the number 3, Nicolas Perrault. Hale now opening up the gas just a little bit, creating some gaps. And we have a good battle here between Rudy and Perrault for the 3rd place and qualifying in the next round. Rudy diving across to make a tight pass, but Perrault will hold him off. Good battle there for that last spot. Looking very comfortable though, Alexander Hale, Quebec. So results are now official in that last heat. And for anybody joining us here on the webcast that's in the Calgary area, the Olympic Oval is set to continue their holiday tradition this year with the Olympic Oval Skate with Santa, brought to you by Shine FM and AM 700 The Light. This year's event is set for December 23. From noon until 8 p.m., bring along a non-perishable food item for donation to the Campus Food Bank and skate for just a toonie. Jolly One himself, the big guy, Santa, will be making an appearance from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., so you don't want to miss out on this festive event. And with talk of Christmas holidays coming up, we get back to the real business here. No, but none of these skaters ready to take a holiday yet as they're getting underway in their first race of this weekend. Heat number 5 of the men's 1,500 meters. We've got 6 skaters on the line. Représentant de Québec, Félix Chemin, numéro 1. Numéro 2, Julien Armand. Numéro 3, Vincent Bédard. Numéro 4, Charles-Étienne Nadeau. Numéro 5, Jordan Pierre-Gilles. And our lone representative not from Quebec in this race, Roger Fulton of New Brunswick, currently sitting in 4th. Félix Chemin comfortably in the lead. Again, another slow start. Jordan Pierre-Gilles, of course, was at the Intercontinental, Short Track Intercontinental here at the Oval back in October, where he picked up a big win there. I think it was in the 1,000 meters. Now moving into the lead is Julien Armand with a beautiful little pass there, a very explosive outside pass. Pierre-Gilles sitting in 4th. He's likely to be one to watch this weekend as we continue through this race. 7 laps to go. Pace picking up a bit. There's a bit of a slip there by the New Brunswick skater, Fulton. Oh, and 2 skaters go down. Jordan Pierre-Gilles going down with Félix Chemin outside. And another skater going down now is the skater from New Brunswick, Fulton, goes down. So we're left with only 3 skaters here on their feet. Julien Armand, Charles-Étienne Nadeau, and number 3, Vincent Bédard, now all alone. The other 3 skaters are at least a lap behind. Three laps to go. These 3 skaters know that their positions are secured as the other skaters went down. Lots of action here in this race. We've got 3 skaters go down. Julien Armand will take the bell. These 3. So it's going to look like it will be Armand, Nadeau, and Bédard taking the top 3 spots. Of course, the other skaters will make sure to finish off their laps so that if there is any decision by the ref, they can be advanced. So we've got half a lap here. Jordan-Pierre Gilles finishing off his race after that unfortunate tumble with Chimay. And now Fulton finishing off as our skaters. See, we get a look at the replay here. You see Chimay going down and just taking out Pierre Gilles there. Very unfortunate for Gilles. He was looking like he was setting up an outside pass. See what happens with Chimay here. Bumped there by between number 4 and number 1. And Chimay just couldn't hold on to it. Chimay was trying that pass. Pierre Gilles was definitely disappointed when he got up there. We see the other crash here is Fulton just leans in there on Bedard and going down. So we'll have the refs looking at this one. I think we got 2 very tight passes in the same corner, 1 lap apart, causing 3 skaters to go down. So there will definitely be some review here. We've got all 3 refs now looking at the video. Of course, refs want to make sure they get it right. This is a very important competition for these skaters as they look to qualify for the World Juniors. It's a tough angle for us to tell there from that replay, being from behind. It's tough to say for sure. Of course, the rules are sometimes a little bit hard to decipher there, but you want to make sure that you're not the skater that's causing the contact. So normally the person that's ahead gets the advantage, but if the person that is ahead is the one causing the contact, they are potentially opening themselves to a penalty. So as our referees confer there over the video, we'll see our skaters on the ice for our final heat here in the 1500 meters this afternoon, warming up, keeping their legs warm. So the referee's continuing to look at the video here. We're just going to try and see if we can get you viewers out there another look at this crash. Of course, it is a bit of a funky angle from behind, but might be able to give you some insight. So here we're seeing that first crash. We had the number 4 Nadeau moving inside Chimay, and Jordan-Pierre Gilles getting taken right out there. Very tight inside pass. It's quite hard to see from this angle, but Jordan-Pierre Gilles definitely moving on the outside very smooth. Chimay trying to go, or being passed on the inside by Nadeau, being bumped out, and then not being able to hold the corner as he hits that block. And there we see the upending of Pierre Gilles. So I am no referee. I will not attempt to make any call in there. You can make your call for yourself at home. I'm sure everybody at home has their own opinion on what will happen. The referees will have an official decision for us coming up very soon. Consistency is one of the keys to this competition, to these junior competitions. You want to be consistent across the board all weekend so you amass the most amount of points possible and take some of the pressure off yourself for later in the week or later in the weekend. It's not impossible for a skater to come back from a rough first day, but it sure helps to have some big points in your pocket going forward. Bit tough on the skaters here who are into the next race. They're out there skating around. Looks like we've got Maxime Raymond Chitaya and Gibson Aimbeau rocking out to AC/DC here. Guys look like they're pretty loose. So, in the previous race, we had number 1, Felix Chamet, who was advanced. So the only call, we have no penalty, just 50, or number 1, sorry, Felix Chamet is advanced to the next round. So after a bit of a delay there, while we figured out if there was going to be any calls from that last race, we're underway with our last race of the men's 1500 meter heats. We got 6 skaters in this race. Number 1, Marc-Antoine Lemay. Number 2, Guillaume Dion. Number 3, Gibson Imbeau, Ontario. Number 4, Charles-Émile Gélina Dion. Number 5, Maxime Raymond Chitaya. Number 6, Antoine Gagnon Lamarche. All skaters here now comfortably underway. 11 laps to go. Bit of a jockeying there. Number 4, Gélina Dion moving into lead. Gibson Imbeau now into second place. Now the pace picking up a little bit. Outside pass. Marc-Antoine Lemay moving into the front. Guillaume Dion also following him, getting into the front. Imbeau and Chitaya. Imbeau now moving into lead. Beautiful move there to go from 4th into 1st. Chitaya moving into 4th from 5th. Definitely a bit more pace in this race. 9.5 second laps. We've got 7 laps to go. Chitaya now moving into 3rd place. Imbeau setting up a nice track in front, carrying his speed well, looking to control the other skaters. The tighter he can keep them together, the more chance, or the harder it is for the other skaters to pass. Chitaya now looking inside and trying to pick up some speed. We'll see if he wants to make a move. And now Chitaya moving into 2nd with a nice little move. As a bit of a gap move opens between 3rd and 4th. 3rd place is Marc-Antoine Lemay, currently holding down that final qualification spot as Imbeau and Chitaya are in 1st and 2nd place. 2 laps to go for the skaters here as that gap continues to grow. 3+0 will qualify to the next round. So Imbeau, Chitaya, and Lemay looking to hold down these final 3 spots and move themselves on to the next round. And at the line, it will be Imbeau, Chitaya, and Marc-Antoine Lemay en 3e place. So this puts an end to our heats here in the 1500 meters. So we will take a quick break here to flood the ice, and we'll be back with the semifinals for our women's 1,500 meters. I'll try to get a time for you here before we sign off from the head referee, Jackie Schubridge. 3:11 Mountain Center time. That's 5:11 for you folks out in Quebec. So we'll be back in about 13-14 minutes for the semifinals of the women's 1,500 meters. And I also just got news that we'll be switching streams, so we do them in blocks. We have the block of heats. We'll be moving on to the block of semifinals. That makes it easier for you viewers out there who are maybe not watching us live, or those of you who want to replay. You can watch the heats all at once, the semis all at once. So you may have to refresh your window, but we'll still be live at youtube.com/theolympicOval.